Hey y'all, how you doing today? Thank you for coming back to my channel. I'm really TT. If you're new here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm just here hanging out. I gotta get ready to go to a funeral in about an hour. Um, yeah. hmm this person that passed away was really kind, gentle, um, like a pillar, and um, you know, in our lives. And I don't really, I don't know. Death is something that we all will cross paths with. And I literally am, I guess, trying to like how to process this. Um, I took Lariah with me to the viewing yesterday. She's not going to go with me to the funeral. I decided to leave Hezekiah at daycare and not take him to the viewing. Um, but I do talk to Lariah a lot about, passing away, um, going to heaven. And she always asks like a lot of questions every time we pass the gravesite. She's always curious. So the very first funeral that I went to, I was 6 years old. One of my grandfathers had passed away. And um, yeah, I, you know, uh, people are, they say that I don't do too well funerals. And I think for me, the last funeral I went to was it almost 2 years ago? Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago for my uncle's funeral. And how they did it was they did the celebration for him the night before, and then the next day they did they had a casket open for 2 hours, and then they closed it right before the program started. So, at this particular funeral, I am going to be singing in the choir. We have rehearsal this week as well too. So we're gonna go. And it's weird that I'm actually talking about this because I think about this a lot. Like I'm like, Lord, you know, I don't want to go too soon. I want my children. I want to spend more time with my children. I really want to be there for my children. Y'all already know my fear of leaving my children, especially Hezekiah, Lariah too. Like she's still little, and I don't want her to go out of state when she gets ready to go to college if that's what she wants to do. I was like, I want to do everything in my power to make sure that she stays somewhere near, but I know I have to allow her to live her life. Today when I was dropping them off, I was, at a stoplight, and I saw this gentleman, and he looked so young. Like he looked really, really young to be out there on the street. Um, he appeared to have, some mental issues going on. Like he had characteristics of someone who's been on drugs. And how I know is because I worked before at a homeless shelter, and I've seen it all. And I'm just thinking like, dang, like he is really, I don't know his story, but I'm just thinking like, where's your family? Like I have family, and I know, I made arrangements. If anything would happen to me, they would go to my sister and her family because both of her, she has two of her children, their middle children. They're both the same age as both my kids, and her husband. They're, they open arms and everything like that. And I have other family too, but I'm just like thinking like I'm like really petrified of leaving my kids, like leaving this earth, leaving here, just not being here, and just to see them grow. And I know God does things for a reason, and I know that God makes no mistakes, but I really was just like looking at that gentleman, like praying for him, like you out here, you young, and clearly, I just, he was just, I don't know, he was like going back and forth with cardboard box. Like, he had a pen, and it was just like him trying to focus on it, what what the pen was for, to be used for. Like, he had all the materials to make a sign, but it's just like, I don't know. That was really hard to watch. And I've seen some stuff. I've seen people walking in the middle of the street asking people to run them over. I've seen people leaning on the street. Um, but I guess it's so many thoughts going through my mind right now. But I'm just like, I don't know why I'm thinking about that or talking about that, but I just be thinking like, I just don't want my children to be left alone. Nobody to care for them, or nobody to hurt them or take advantage of them. That's like that's my concern, my prayer. Like, I'm getting geared up now because Hezekiah does go to school and he does go to daycare. But when he graduates from elementary school to middle school, I'm going to have to be there with him after school to care for him. Unless things change, and thank God I have a job right now to where I can do that, but I still, have to go into the office. But my job is super flexible. My staff is very understanding. And I know that there are a lot of people out here in this world that wish they can have the flexibility of what I have. And I'm still working on a project, and I think that's another reason why it's been kind of hard for me to put out content, because I still feel like God is having me hold off on certain things. I don't know how long I can hold off on this stuff for, but I just am doing this so that I can be there and be present for both of my children. It has been rough, really, really rough. My my goal on this platform now is just to document the things that I've gone through, the good memories, and just the it can be good or bad, just talk it through, because I want my children to see that we did make it. We got through some things, and as young as my daughter is, she remembers stuff from like 2-3 years ago, and she's only 7. You know what I mean? So update. They did. I'm still working on custody for my children, full custody for my children. What else is going on? They did see their father by the way of their grandmother. She reached out to me, and I allowed them to go for a visit. I was there. He was there too. Yeah, my kids missed him a lot. But it still does not change what has happened, the treatment, not even treatment towards me, just the treatment towards his children. So it still does not change my thought process on still moving forward with the full custody. It doesn't change the fact that, the behavior still hasn't changed, honestly. It just hasn't. And I, just said I don't want my children to feel as if the only relationship they can have with their father is virtually, because that's not fair. So their grandmother reached out. She wanted to see them. And, I said I would never keep them away. That's not something that I would do. I don't know what it feels like to not have my father, because my father's still very instrumental in my life. So is my mother. I get to see them often. My dad, when he's in town, he'll come out here and see us, and he'll just spend quality time with us no matter how tired he is. And I am really appreciative of that, because I got really depressed, I think, when my parents moved. I did. I felt like these past 2 years are kind of hard, because last year, about a year ago, my sibling that lived out here with me, she moved out of state. So I'm literally the only person in California, my immediate family. So, and I don't get to see my extended family as often. But I did go on not a cruise, a trip. I went on a vacation for the first time in 8 years. And I saw my cousins, and it was a big thing. And once that video is ready, it's not going to be on this particular channel. I will put it in my community so you all can see the fun that we had. I got to get away. I got to sleep. My children were in great care. And, you know, it's scary because I can't leave my children with just anyone, especially like Hezekiah. Um, I don't know if I said this before on this particular video, but Hezekiah is on the spectrum and he has to have care 24/7. He cannot be left by himself. So things have been a little bit difficult from, you know, sometime. Um, but he is doing really well, really well. But I had so much fun on my vacation. I went to Cancun and I got to be around cousins, some cousins I haven't seen in like, I want to say like one cousin I think in like maybe like 10 years. My cousin had turned 40 and it was a surprise birthday for him. He had no idea, no clue. It was like 22, 23, about 23 of us that went, and we had so much fun. It was exciting and it was totally a vibe. Yeah, it was amazing. It was super amazing. But then I went for my birthday. I went on another trip, so it's like I take my kids somewhere and then I go somewhere type of deal. I feel like I've been like a real hermit for the past 8 years because I've been a mommy. It's just been like almost 8 years, just a mommy, and that's okay. But I said, okay, I was getting to a point to where if I don't do something for myself, I'm going to go crazy. And I was like, I'm about to lose my mind. I feel like I was going crazy. I was just like, Lord, I have nothing left in me. Like, what's going on? So my dad gave me the best advice ever. He said, you know what? He said, in spite of everything that's going on, you still have your trip to go on. And he was like, leave everything and just go. Just go. And I feel like that was the best medicine that I could ever do. Like, I really was just I was so stressed. Like, these past couple months, I was like super stressed. Yeah, I said all that to say, like, it has been really pressing having to be at 3 different places at 3 different times and juggling my schedule. And I don't know. And it's been crazy. Like, I've started getting back out there trying to, like, not date, but like talk to, you know, guys and stuff like that. And I'm trying to put myself in a different headspace before I go to this funeral. I know I started talking about one thing and something else totally else happened, but it's okay because, you know, my life is just, it is what it is. Yeah, I was talking to this one guy. He kept asking me for my number. And at first I was just like, I don't know. It was just something about him that I didn't, I don't know. I guess it was my intuition. So after a while, I did give him my number, not on the first like encounter, like cross paths again. I ended up giving him my number, and he sent me a lot of pictures, like a whole like zip file of photos. And I'm like, I know what you look like. Why are you sending me? He was like, I just want you to see the type of stuff that I like. He said he likes to cook. Okay, that's nice. I guess you want me to get to know you, but I think your character speaks for itself. That's where I'm at. So his conversations were very immature, and I literally, for the life of me, I said, you know what, girl, I can't do this. But I made a commitment. I said, Lord, I said, for a whole year, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to put myself out there, try to talk and mingle. I'm an introvert. Like, I don't, public spaces, I can go out in the public, but just doing all this stuff, I get real awkward. I was raised to be an extrovert. I was raised to be out there, social butterfly, but for whatever reason, past 8 years, I became a hermit. So I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying. So the conversations got really bland, and I think like day 2, I was just like, I can't do this. So he had said, oh, I wanted to see you, but I ran out of gas on the way to pick up my son. I had to catch an Uber. And I was like, Okay. Sorry, I'm glad you was able to pick them up. I'm glad you had another resource, right? So also in that zip file of pictures he sent me a picture of him and his unmentionables. I don't know why I needed to see that. And then he sent me a picture of him and his son. And I'm just thinking, you don't know anything about me, but you want me to see a photo of you and your child. I don't send pictures of myself to anybody I cross paths with of me and my children. Now, if you happen to find me on social media, okay, but I'm not going to openly send pictures of myself and my children to anybody. That's just weird. I don't know. So after that, like literally the next day, he asked me, just in conversation, it was just through text at that time. He said, being that you're over the age of 30 and you have two small children, what do you rate yourself? I didn't say anything. So 5 minutes later, he he sends a emoji with the, the monkey like this, like pretty much saying cat got your tongue. So he repeated the same question to me, like he copied it to text message and sent it to me again. So 20 minutes go by, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to respond to this man. Like, you can't even keep gassing your car to go pick up your child. I don't know. I don't know. And I was just like, this is so ghetto. Like, it was unclear what he did for work. It was just, at that time, it was just so many. I mean, if you cannot tell me what you do, you don't have to say where you work, but if you can't tell me what you do, if you're beating around the bush, I don't need to talk to you. If you're more interested in, talking about children or sending photos and stuff like that, that makes me feel very uncomfortable. If you want to talk about getting in between the sheets, that makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm not, I can't do it. Like, I can't do it. It's just like, I know that males, I'm not saying it, males are visual. They like their visual. Of course, you want to talk to somebody you find attractive, but I think it's a certain way that you need to conduct yourself if you want to talk to me. And I am not going to allow myself to lower my standards. It doesn't matter what I rate myself, because I know who I am. I know my worth. And there is a big debate about if you're a single mom. And they don't even say fathers. They say if you're a single mom, you're on the bottom of the dating pool. To who? To who? That's your own opinion. If you feel that way solely about me, why are you trying to talk to me? I don't know. I don't understand. Why do you put forth the effort, time to try to talk to me, to get to know me if you feel that way? I'm not on the bottom. I'm just not. It doesn't even matter where I fit in. I just know that I'm in there. Okay. But I I don't know. I feel like dating with children, I don't even tell people that I talk to that I have the age of my children. All I say is, even in, sometimes I don't say anything. I just say, oh, they're in school. That's all I say. I don't say anything else. I don't tell them boy or girl. I don't tell them I have a special needs child. I don't tell them anything else but the basic information. Now I know when you get to know someone, of course that information will come, but just so eager to know. And that's just like, I don't need to feel like I'm in a job interview either. Dating has been real ghetto, y'all. It's been really ghetto. Like, I had one person talking to me and he kept saying, oh, how are my stepkids? How are they? These are not your kids. Don't do that. Another person would call me. He was drunk all the time. Like, he didn't have a car. Unless you have a medical condition, or if your license is suspended. Well, I don't even, if your license is suspended, I don't even talk to you. Like, everybody has something. We all go through things. Everybody has something in their life to where, they're trying to overcome. People make mistakes. I make mistakes. We make mistakes all the time. But it's just certain things at a certain age that you really need to focus on. If someone else talks, I'm like, why am I a magnet for foolishness? And one person, he said, you seem to be a no nonsense type of lady. I really like that. Yeah, I am. Because my time is so valuable. It really is valuable, and it's so important to really stick to what I want out of life. And unfortunately, it's just not like it's not working. It's just not working. If it's not working, I'm not even going to put forth the effort. Like I I feel empowered to speak on things that I like and also speak more on things that I don't like so it doesn't happen. So if I tell you, hey, it's not appropriate to ask about my children. It's not appropriate to ask me about my credit score. It's not appropriate to ask me how much money I have saved. It's not appropriate to ask me who lives with me. I that is not any of your it's not appropriate to ask me when's the last time I was with someone. These are not questions that you need to know right now. I mean, of course, once you get to know someone, that I can pick and choose on what I want to answer, but all this interviewing type of stuff is, I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to old school, trying to get to know someone. Let's go to a cafe and talk. We don't have to do a big expensive dinner. I got my funds to pay for my coffee or tea, and I hope you do too. Let's just talk about things that you like. What type of movies do you like? You know what I mean? Like, what makes you happy? Where do you see yourself going in the next year? Not even 5 years, but in the next year. What's your favorite holiday? If you have children, okay, you can say how many, but I don't need to know all the details. And then I was like, oh my God, this other gentleman was telling me about how much he messed up with his his baby mama, and then he was end up moving in with somebody else, and then he felt like, God has left him. And I'm just like, I can't do it, Jesus. I really can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not laughing at his struggle. Oh God, because I tell my sisters and my cousins recent. I said I feel like because I was dating someone when I was in Texas, and I think at that moment in my life, I wanted to be in a relationship, and God sent me someone that I he sent me someone that I asked for, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I had two small children. He worked. He was a provider. He was nice. He was kind. The only thing is that I feel like I was just going through it, and I did not know how to like juggle. I hadn't dated in a while, and he treated me like a lady. He was the type of guy that would show up to my job. He would drop me off lunch, you know what I mean, and he would take me out, or he would ask me what I would like to do. The only thing he required was just for me just to be his woman, and I was actually getting ready to meet his mom and stuff, but it was just something in me. He did like two things that I really just didn't like. One thing was that he smothered me too much. Um, and then he just kind of did like a dismissive thing with one of my kids. Like he said he was just playing, but I didn't like that. And I corrected him on that. But it kind of went south. I think because I started phasing away from him. And I told my sisters, I said, I feel like I messed up. I'm pretty sure I would have been married by now, because he did say because he was trying to marry me too, and he was willing to move to California. He had a really good job, but if it was meant to be, it would have been. Y'all be like, well, why you go back to him? Y'all, that man married now. And the funny thing is, he never took me off his face. I didn't even know we were still friends on Facebook. I just happened to go on Facebook, and I was like, oh, he got married. So yeah, I kind of messed that up, but that's okay, because I wasn't ready. I had to be honest with myself. I was not ready. And because I wasn't ready, I was not going to be able to be fully what he needed at that time. With that being said, that's my couch talk. Let me get ready for this funeral. It is going to be a celebration. Um, y'all, please pray for the family, and yeah, pray for me as well too, because I'm gonna pray for y'all too. I just, man, like, it's a new day, new age with dating. I got my stressors. I'm just going to keep praying and stay prayed up. Pray for my children. Pray for their safety, protection, and just thank God every day for another day on this earth, because somebody must be flying their private plane. Yeah. All right, y'all. Let me get ready to go to this funeral. All right. This is really TT. I'm out. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.